In a vast field, under the bright sun, a young boy worked diligently alongside other farmers. They all tilled the earth, planting seeds and nurturing the soil. As he completed his work, an elderly man approached him with a bag filled with rewards, a way to say thank you for his hard work. The boy, with a kind smile, politely declined the gifts, sharing his belief that good deeds shouldn't always be done for rewards. The old farmer was touched by the boy's words, his eyes welling up with tears. The surrounding farmers nodded in agreement, their hearts warmed by the young lad's noble sentiment. The old man spoke up, his voice filled with emotion, saying that the village would always remember this boy, and expressing a wish for more people like him in the world. Suddenly a blue screen appeared, surprising everyone. It announced that the villagers' favourability towards the player in the virtual reality game called Divine Catastrophe had increased by 1 reputation point. The boy's excitement grew as he realised he was now closer to his goal. Divine Catastrophe was an immensely popular virtual reality game that had launched just a week ago. It had already gathered a staggering 1 billion online players. The game's allure lay in its incredible freedom and lifelike realism. What made it even more captivating was the array of professions players could choose from. Our young protagonist, known as Wildfire in the game, stood at level 1 without a profession, but possessed 9 reputation points. He knew that he needed just 1 more point to change his profession to a Saint Knight. However, the rule of requiring 10 reputation points for a profession change frustrated him. Even though he was disappointed that he had abstained from claiming mission rewards to gain reputation points, Wildfire found comfort in knowing he was getting closer to his ultimate goal. As he walked along the serene path surrounded by lush trees, he noticed an elderly man who seemed to be in distress. The man was coughing and appeared to need help. Excitement surged through Wildfire as he offered his assistance and asked about the man's needs. The old man hesitated, unsure if the young boy was up to the task. But Wildfire confidently boasted about his abilities and assured the old man that he could rely on him. Internally, Wildfire considered the area's proximity to Malt City a beginner's zone with less challenging missions. The old man then presented a peculiar ring, explaining that it needed to be delivered to the city. Wildfire was momentarily puzzled, as Malt City was just a few steps away. Seizing the opportunity, the old man convinced Wildfire to accept the ring, slipping it onto his finger. In an instant, Wildfire was engulfed in a radiant golden aura. His appearance underwent a dramatic transformation, and his attire changed. A sinister skull badge materialized on his chest. A blue screen appeared out of nowhere, announcing that the player had successfully changed professions and become a tyrant. Well, it looks like our young hero went from being a farmer's helper to a far more exciting and adventurous profession. The old man swiftly retreats, leaving Wildfire bewildered as he checks his stats. The player is shocked to discover that his profession has changed to a tyrant, and he now has a negative reputation of 100 points. Panic sets in as Wildfire realizes that his hard-earned reputation points have been rendered worthless. The boy is clueless about what being a tyrant entails, and the system provides no help either. Suddenly the old man returns and is hood off, informing the player that he too has become a tyrant like him. The cunning man assures Wildfire of his assistance, but the player's anger is triggered, and he unleashes a barrage of curses upon the deceiver. Wildfire questions the old man's motive behind this deceitful act, expressing his bewilderment over the absence of any grudges between them. He is taken aback by the fact that the old man disappeared merely to change his clothes. The cunning man patiently responds, pointing out that the boy had confidently accepted the mission, so he shouldn't be angry at him. However, the old man's casual attitude further infuriates Wildfire, who scolds him for disregarding the importance of reputation points. The young player had diligently completed missions with the sole purpose of accumulating those points as he aspired to become the Saint Knight and change his profession. Wildfire is disheartened to realize that all this hard work has been in vain. However, the old man remains unperturbed and assures the young lad that this situation presents a great opportunity for him to witness the true strength of a tyrant in the future. The kind of man even goes so far as to belittle the Saint Knights, claiming they are nothing but trash in their eyes. He promises the young boy that he will become the old man's disciple, receiving fair treatment. Suddenly Wildfire has a horrifying realization which the old man confirms. With his reputation points now in the negative, the player's movements will be restricted. Wildfire contemplates deleting his account and starting over, but the old man grants him a powerful fire skill that leaves the player feeling dazed and questioning why all this is happening to him. As the cunning man departs, Wildfire decides to go with the flow, acknowledging how far he has already come. The player opens his account to learn about the tyrant profession, as he has never heard of it before. However, Wildfire is unable to find any information on it, leading him to believe that the old man has tricked him. Determined to change his profession, he decides to return to his village and find a way to accomplish that. Upon arriving at his village, Wildfire is surprised to find guards stationed at the gates. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. What is the best fantasy weapon? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. Now back to the recap. The player wonders if there is something new happening, maybe a big event or a war on the horizon. Wars sometimes pop up in the game and players can win cool things from them. The idea of getting a good reputation from a war makes them feel excited. Wildfire wants the guards to open the gates for him, but his confidence goes away fast when a guard warns him to stop or get attacked. The innocent player talks to the guard saying he's not bad, but the guard sees his skull badge and tells the other guards to attack. Wildfire gets frustrated and curses the old man who got him in this mess, where he can't even get into his own city. Suddenly a screen shows up, telling the player to use a skill called Villain. Feeling like he has nothing to lose, Wildfire tries it, hoping he can just start over if things go really bad. The skill gives him power, and he fights back against the attacking guard. It's surprising how strong he becomes, even though he's only at level 1. He goes from a good guy to a tough-looking guy with a skull badge pretty quickly. The player gets a bunch of messages saying that because Wildfire hurt the guard, now the guard and the city are mad at him. He's got a bad reputation now, and they even put a price on his head, 10 gold coins. Wildfire is shocked and says sorry, but the guards keep coming at him. They try all sorts of moves like air slash, lightning charge and whirlwind slash, but none of it hurts him. He feels brave and fights them off, taking them all down. After the fight, Wildfire checks his skill and learns that as he gets a worse reputation, the skill gets stronger. He's happy he won't have to go to jail, which would last 48 hours in the game. That's a rule if you do something really bad. Now Wildfire decides to go to Chaos City, but before he goes he looks through the guard's stuff to find something good. He doesn't find much, just some not-so-great steel. He gives up and goes on his way. Later, the chief of the guards shows up and is really surprised. The guards are all knocked out naked, and their stuff is left behind. The chief hears rumours about an adventurer who did this and gets really mad. He offers a big reward, 200 gold coins, to anyone who catches Wildfire, dead or alive. Meanwhile, Wildfire is headed to Chaos City, not knowing about the danger behind him. From wanting to be a good knight to becoming a not-so-good guy, it's a weird change. As he goes on his journey, a message pops up saying there's a 200 gold coin reward for him. Wildfire thinks about how, even if all the players put their money together, they wouldn't get to 200 gold coins. He feels sad and thinks about how he used to want to be a holy knight, but now his reputation is really bad, and he can't even get back to his own city. This guy's reputation went down faster than a roller coaster ride with no brakes. The only silver lining in this predicament is his newly acquired powerful skill, Villain. Although his assured duration is 1 minute and the cooldown time is 40 minutes. Well, at least his fighting skill lasts longer than some men. Furthermore, hunger gnaws at him, causing his attributes to diminish due to an empty stomach. The player's frustration mounts as he comes to terms with the game's realistic challenges. Soon Wildfire arrives at a village, hopeful to find sustenance and refreshment. He approaches a man and greets him, but the man flees in fear, warning others about the arrival of a tyrant. This realization dawns upon the player, emphasizing the urgency of restoring his tarnished reputation and questioning if it's even possible anymore. To his surprise, villagers gather, blocking his entry into their village, only to scatter in terror when faced with Wildfire. Perplexed by their reactions, the player contemplates why everyone recognizes his profession. Why is everybody treating him like a tyrant? Maybe his clothes need a "not a tyrant" sticker. It dawns on him that his clothes bear the emblem of the tyrant, inadvertently marking him as such. Thank goodness the dumb head finally realized it. His rumbling stomach demands attention, compelling Wildfire to swiftly find food and conceal the emblem. While searching for sustenance in the village, the player discovers abandoned sausages left by the frightened villagers. Initially contemplating the ethics of stealing food, Wildfire's hunger drives him to devour the sausages hastily. After satisfying his hunger, he proceeds to pilfer some milk and bread. Spotting a cloak, he appropriates it to cover the incriminating insignia. With each stolen item, the system warns Wildfire of his diminishing reputation points due to theft from Windmill's village. However, he gains silver coins, as stealing in the game has no immediate consequences unless caught. The stolen items can be utilized personally or sold through a dealer. As Wildfire departs from the villagers reappear, discovering the missing sausages, bread, milk, and cloak. One man ponders how a tyrant could stoop to stealing such insignificant things, questioning if they have misunderstood Wildfire. It must be feeling tired after playing with all those naked bodies earlier, They find a note from the so-called tyrant explaining his hunger and thirst as the reason for the theft, assuring the villagers that he will return. What will happen next? Find out next time by staying tuned for our future recaps. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great recaps.